Cheers and a brofist to you all! Welcome once again, Friday, 4 p.m. on the live stream. It is drama time, joined by this wonderful audience here to enjoy some stories, to while away your weekend and set you up for the summer heat that is blasting the UK right now. It is red hot and delicious. It is toasty hot and toasty delicious. I actually can't wait to get outside, although there is 9 children staying at my house tonight, which means I am in for one of the worst evenings ever. But having said that, on Monday, we are finally going to be jumping into an often requested game. We're going to be spending some of the day, if not all of the day, depending on if I like it, with Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online have reached out, they've got some new stuff, and it's about time we had a dive into that, because during MMO December... it was something that was on the list, so if you can make it and you can tune in and you want to help me out and guide me, because I'll be trying to get probably a whirlwind look at what's going on. We are going to be jumping, apparently what I've been told by the people over at ESO is that what they would really like me to check out to see their updated stuff is we'll have to play through some of the start of the game, but then they like to go to the new stuff because they think it's relevant. Because I believe it's horizontal progression in that game. That's about as much as I know. So that's what we're going to be doing and having fun with it. It should be an interesting experience. We, of course, got many seasoned ESO players in the chat. And this week has been a variety madness. We had wonderful... I can't even remember the names of the games we've played this week. Of course, we've had Warhammer Summer Mechanicus is done. And we will be returning to Warhammer Summer after Dawn Trail because we've got quite a number of things coming up next week. But don't worry, Warhammer Summer is nowhere near over. We are coming back to it. But we did say when we started Warhammer Summer there would be a break in the middle because, of course, Dawn Trail is... By the time next drama time happens, we will be in Tulululululul. We will be in Tulululululul. We will be there. We will be in there. We will be there. The clock is there. As a reminder for Dawn Trail, we will be starting the first 7 days from the early access, doing some Picto and Viper and things like that. I'll be doing some setup for it early next week. And of course, remember on Wednesday... Yes, that's correct. On Wednesday, it is our beach party, the Goodbye Endwalker party that I recommend you come and see. This week in total, guys, this week has been crazy before we get to drama. We have played no less than 8 games, it looks like. We finished Dawn of War, we played Mechanicus, we played The Land Beneath Us, we played Exit 8, we played Platform 8, we played Still Wakes the Deep, we played Duck Detective, we played Little Kitty Big City for 17 minutes. We played Mists of Aden. And the one in the middle here of my count was actually Elden Ring, which we did not play after request because it would be disrupted, and we want that smooth, continuous gameplay. So, Elder Scrolls will kick off on Monday. I can see there has been some talk between Squeenix and ourselves, no doubt getting shot down. Ooh, no! We are asking Squeenix if we can build a Solution 9 PC. Considering the GPU effect of it, Squeenix have not said no from what I can see here, but we will see whether we can get the budget to build a Solution 9 PC and maybe give it away to you guys. That would be the solution, or it will be here in the office as a masterpiece, something like that. But of course, I mean, it's ripe. It's ripe for the potential. They haven't said no. They said we're coming back to you shortly. They're checking things out, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, but that's not why you're here right now. Of course, our audio listeners are like, Mike, get the piss on with it. I'm on my way to work. I've got you on the podcast. I am doing some stuff. But I will say this. We had over £1,000 of donations today of real cash money. We're going to be using a vast portion of that. Obviously, there'll be some spare chain stuff to give away Elden Ring and its DLC for those of you who can't get it because it's very expensive. Started as a fun thing. So somebody who's been watching for a long time sent some money so it'll pay it forward and get people Elden Ring. And then Targ slammed it in, as did many others, in order to push that up. So hopefully there's a weekend stream. I never guarantee it. But if not, that will be starting Monday. Mainly because I want my team involved, because I did it all manually today and it took ages on the stream. So I will leave that to the team. to sort out. I'll be leaving that to the team. Yes, that is the game plan to go along with that. So it should be fine. It should be fine. I actually have plans for a weekend stream, but I know a horse show thing has come up, which is generally good for me. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's get into drama time. Everybody listens to this as a story to tell. I always believe that. I think it's true. You do, whether you realize it or not. And you can send them to us at drama@preachgaming.com, or you can submit them on our website under drama. For some interaction you've had across the wide world of the internet to let things go. So we've got 4 stories that have been sent to us this week. Our lovely Bex has combed through them so I can go in without knowing what's going on. What's some clues? People, somebody who's, okay, very bad at losing. Okay. I mean, we could start with this. I'm not sure how entertaining this will be, but let's see. Because last week we had a story from a very interesting person. Oh, that's true. I forgot about this. After last week's story, I did request if you could send redneck facts from those of you who live in these backwater areas of the USA. Although it's not strictly gaming related, I did request if you grew up in one of these areas where apparently you take time off school as kids to go hunting, which is just insane to me, that we're taking time off school to go and kill animals. And you actually came in with some stuff. Okay, all right. I'm very curious. We're going to the boonies. This now warning, I guess, from it doesn't appear to be any names in this one. I guess for those of us who don't live in this kind of environment, this may get very weird. But I'm excited nonetheless. And if you are an American who lives in these boony areas, maybe this will ignite either some triggers or some fond memories of your childhood. I don't know. I suppose, actually, this story does contain a name, doesn't it? And that would be Freedom Town, USA. Freedom Town, USA is the name relevant to our tale here today. Trigger warning, America. All right. I don't know where this is going to go. I have no idea what kind of things are going to be in here. I'm excited. Hopefully we're not let down. Let's go. Mikey and the consummate ballers of your live audience. Wow, shitting on all the people who listen to us over on Spotify or Google Play or Apple Music, where we're available everywhere. Apologies for any spelling or grammar. English is not my native language, and I'm turbo shit at it. Oh, no, sorry. English is my first language, but I'm turbo shit at it as I'm American. Fair enough. If this story makes it to you, thank you to Bex as well. Okay. Mikey and audience, I've been a gamer for a really long time. I started out on the Atari, playing my way through the decades. I still don't know exactly what my first gaming device was. I'm still not sure. I think it was the Atari, but it might have been the Commodore. I'm not sure. My memory does not go back. It might have been a Master System. It might have been a Master System. I'm not sure. I'm really not. I played World of Warcraft from the vanilla, taking breaks for a marriage and other temporary inconveniences like that. Yes, the inconvenience of marriage. After one such break, I came back at the end of the expansion I kept seeing ads for on TV. I came back from my biggest break ever to Warlords of Draenor. That's not a bad time to come back. Nice and easy and simple, all good. While contemplating my life choices and failures as I browsed Tanaan Jungle, I came across a British YouTuber doing class guides for Legion. He made good content and had a really stupid name, Preach of all things. I apologize profusely to the people in Middle and Southern America that I picked up the moniker Preach. I was 13 when I started using the name Preach. I had no idea it would result one day in me having merchandise with Preach written on it, which would be unwearable by a vast portion of the Americans. I am really sorry. How could I have known? How could I have known, my friends? How could I have known? I'm sorry. I am genuinely sorry. I did not realize it. You will notice now that all our merch has PG on it, and it does not have Preach written on it. That is long gone. That is a rule in-house. It can no longer have that name. I followed the community through the highs of Legion, the lows of BFA, and the actual what in the fuck is going on of Shadowlands. Thankfully, like rats... like the rats of his channel, flee the sinking ship of WoW and found the greener pastures of FF14. As I was undergoing recovery from some military injuries at the time, I felt it was a great time to start a new MMO, and I followed along with FF14. Seriously, thank you, by the way. I love 14 and never would have tried it without seeing your early game streams. Same. Thank these lovely people here. Because without them, I still, as I told Yoshi P to his face, I would never, ever have tried that game if it wasn't for them forcing it down my throat as we hit 20,000 subscribers as I was lying in the tent in the middle of the field with it raining. An interesting experience in my life, let's put it that way. Last week, you put out a call to arms to rural America for youth stories. I was still listening to Drama Time as I started typing it up. Oh, God. Okay, where are you from? Let me see if we have got some Americans in the chat. We do Drama Time later in the UK afternoon, and the Americans are awake. So, I grew up and I still live in a rural part of America that you probably won't get a lot of stories from. Oh, I have no clues. What clues can I provide of this? Okay. It has coastal plains, rolling inland hills, large forested areas. It has a frontier on the western periphery. Let me... I want the specific name. Is famous for... If there's one thing that place is famous for, after its foliage, of course, it has to be the seafood. Freshly caught seafood has a place on every restaurant's menu. Okay, somebody has it close. Somebody has it close. Lobsters, soft shell crab, oysters. It is the oldest... I love this. This is really fun. This is like reverse GeoGuessr. It is the oldest region of the United States and one of the first successful English settlements in America. And it has a long and oft-contested cultural history. A professor of American and Place Studies, Joseph A. Conforti, writes, it has been a storied place. Popular sports include basketball and volleyball. Who the fuck puts this as the Western Front? It is New England. Rural New England. Can we get a picture, at least for our live audience? Rural New England. Oh, wow. Okay, it's where, like, Beetlejuice takes place. Holy shit, this place is beautiful. What the fuck? These pictures are oversaturated as hell, but Jesus Christ. A lot of church, a lot of Jesus. Praise Jesus. Wow. That place is fucking gorgeous. New England in autumn is top... This place... I kind of want to visit here. It looks like there's a lot of apples. Looks like a lot of apples. I think I would be bored here. Is what I would say. I think I would be bored here, but I would kind of like to drive through it. It also looks like possibly ghosts live here as well. Yeah. It's got lighthouses and shit. Yeah, possibly ghosts. Definitely looks like ghostly shit would happen here. Looks a little suspect. I don't know. You tell me, Isaac. I have no idea. Yeah, Sleepy Hollow vibes. Definitely like Beetlejuice, the original. I know they're remaking Beetlejuice. But it looks like where... I think... Does that take place in New England? I don't know. Okay. While we do have places like Boston, Massachusetts, where I grew up, we proudly displayed on our school walls this awesome fact about where we lived, that we had more cows than human beings. Moo moo, baby. Moo boo. My parents from what was described locally as old stock. I was born and raised in the woods. Like a feral child? Okay. Mike, when I say the woods, I mean the fucking woods. I did not have what the rest of the world commonly refers to as neighbors. Mike, I lived in a house that was 11.4 miles from the nearest paved road. I've got to ask, what do you guys do if you have a medical situation? Like a heart attack or somebody bonks their head or something? Are you just dead? Like, is that it? Are you just fucking GG? You just wipe it? It's a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. I guess I'll die. I don't want the author to give away their name if they want to keep under wraps. Anonymity is a big part of Drama Time. So if the author's here, hello to you. Okay. 11.4 miles. He said, die, Mike, we die. Okay, cool. Most of the youth in my town were family. Okay. Pretty normal, okay. I could tell you not normal here to have that scenario. I assume we're of a similar age, I'd imagine, based on what you've said about your gaming history. Yeah. Mike and chat. This might be hard for you to believe, but it is true. I have 27 first cousins on my mother's side alone. I'm kind of curious about that family tree. Kind of want to see that family tree. Little bit. Very curious. And all of them lived in the same town. Technologically, my town was about 10 years behind. We didn't have working... Okay, guess. You guys have to guess the date. When did they get working cell phones in this area? When did they get working cell phones? What year did they get working cell phones? Okay, you're all guessing too fucking high because you know it's going to be bad. 2010. So that is... we got working cell phones like as the norm. And that was when kids got them. So it would have been about 1996, I want to say, that cell phones became prominent here. I'd say 96, I was starting to see everybody with a cell phone. So they were out before that, but 96 is when everybody had a mobile phone. Yeah. It was while I was still in high school, so it would definitely be... That's when they were prevalent. You know, like, you used to get them car ones. That was like early 90s. You know, them big fucking brick bastards. I mean, this is long before the Nokia 3310. You used to get them big fucks like that. Okay. As you can imagine, Mike, needless to say, I did not have a working mobile phone until after I left for college. So sad. As you can imagine, my childhood choice of activities was pretty limited. Okay. A lack of other kids in proximity and a lack of infrastructure did do that. This is the kind of place where they used to hide porn in the forest, right? I always heard stories from America is that the people would go and like bury porn magazines in the woods and shit, which is fucking bizarre, but like it was always a part of movies. Like, I've never seen it anywhere but in like American movies where that was a thing of like burying porn magazines out in the woods and shit. Yeah. Most of the US, most of us were jealous of what we called the townies. Those were the people who lived on Main Street. And 3 of those houses on the main street had kids in them. Those kids could play together, fuckers. 3 kids in the whole town could play together because they lived within a reasonable distance. The rest of us had to rely on seeing other people of our age at things like Little League or soccer or Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts of America are the reluctant sponsors of today's story. Oh no. The author says they found their first ever porno magazine in a tree stump. You see? I'm not making this shit up. I'm not making this shit up. This is a fucking thing that people used to do, apparently. Was go fucking get porno mags and hide them in the fucking woods for some reason. So they could go out and have a fucking forest wank or some shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on. That sounds well risky, by the way. Like, unless you've got a 360-degree spin going on, like, you could be easily caught, I would imagine. But then again, no one lives near you, so probably you're fine. I don't know. The Boy Scouts of America, or we'll call it the BSA from here on out. The program is nationally youth-led and run. We elect our leaders from our membership. Now, in reality, the adults still, of course, led the program. No one is stupid enough to let a group of 20-ish 12 to 18-year-olds self-govern. I mean, you would think. The youth leadership roles are designed to teach leadership skills early on and a great development in theory. In practice, boys will be boys. And many of our training sessions as new leaders devolved into aggressive and absolute chaos. I mean, you guys realistically are the foundation of every early 90s horror film, right? And some of the 70s and 80s ones. Because every single one of them takes place at some sort of bizarre youth camp by a lake. And then somebody turns up and stabs everybody because they're all like fucking and whatever. Like, this is where this all came from. All these stories devolve from these environments you guys were in. Now, the adult leadership, including my father, were not fans of how little we cared about the standard training provided by the Boy Scouts of America. In fairness, the provided training did fucking suck. It was an 8-hour series of VHS tapes that would compete for uselessness with the worst death by PowerPoint in my adult life. Yeah, I'm aware of these. The one memory of these burned into my brain is the pedophile awareness video. The way they demonstrated how you might spot a pedophile was a scene where a boy was in the shower after baseball and the coach knocks and asks the boy, got room for one more in there. Guys, now you know how to spot a pedophile in the wild. You're all set. You're all set. If you see that happening, tell someone. All right? At least he knocked. At least he knocked. Really? That's what you're getting out of this? At least they knocked. To make the training more fun, the adults began to plan a new, updated version of the training. However, Mike, they described the new modern version of the Boy Scout training as to be more woodsy. Like Deliverance. More woodsy. Now, either this is going to be some canoe building and starting fires, or this is going to be in a very different way. I don't think I can use Deliverance as a reference anymore, because it's too boomer for you guys, right? Just as a quick gauge, how many of you have no idea what I mean when I say Deliverance? I'm not interested in the ones who know it, but the ones who have no clue what I'm talking about when we say Deliverance. Also, don't watch it. It'll scar you the fuck up. It's a movie. It's a movie called Deliverance, and it will absolutely mess you up. It'll leave you with a little bit of a fear of banjos. Let's put it that way. You should watch it. It's a great movie about a banjo kid. It is where dueling banjos comes from, which you've probably seen referenced in many video games. If you've ever seen dueling banjos, it's from that movie. Anyway, so on the next training day, 10 of us were selected for the training. As I remember it, that group was all in the age group of 14 to 16, and my peers. As opposed to meeting at the school where we normally did our training, this time we met at the town park. The 10 boys were divided up into 2 groups of 5. Oh my god, you're going to Hunger Games, aren't you? This is Hunger Games shit. You're straight up going into the forest for Hunger Games. They provided 2 pickup trucks with all of us climbed into the back of, and gave us caps. I provided an image. If that set of words is too American, I've included this as reference to how we went there. Okay. Yeah, you won't really see one of... So for our audio listeners here, we have, as you can imagine, a very typical, ridiculously oversized US car with just the fattest wheels. This thing doesn't even understand that there may be one day a limitation on fuel. That's a smart. It is by modern standards. I have been seeing articles pop up that cars are now so big in the US, at least the trucks, that you can't see like 10 and 11-year-old children if they were stood in front of it, because their fucking front ends are so huge that you can't see. I am always kind of impressed when I go to the US and see the size of those cars. They are pretty spectacular. All to go and do the grocery run. Oh, I mean, I was in the US. What? Like, I've been to the US like 5 times this year alone. Yeah, I'm aware of the current size of US trucks. Ain't no Cybertruck though, is it? Which is the most useful of all the trucks. So remember that. Now, Mike, as we climbed into these trucks, 2 things were immediately unusual. First, the windows in the cab were covered. And secondly, we had to put paper bags over our heads so we doubly couldn't see. Boy Scouts of America probably not too happy with the idea of you putting blindfolds and paper bags over your head like a kidnapping attempt. Okay. No, this tracks. This all makes sense. Then our trip began. I want to pause here in the storytelling and try to answer some questions that I'm sure you as a rational human being might have. No, putting kids in the bed of a truck to transport them is not legal where I lived, but it was common practice because the police were nowhere. Makes sense. It was used for things like transporting kids from the local swimming hole back home when you didn't want your truck full of wet kids. I mean, I've ridden in the back of trucks. It's fine. It's totally fine. Like, as long as the driver isn't a maniac, it's totally fine to sit in the back of a truck when it's riding. That's okay. Also, trucks with 2 rows of seats were unnecessary extravagance. The truck had 1 row of bench seats. Also, I imagine there were in fact people driving by a public park that day, watching grown-ass men put paper bags on the heads of children and then ushering them into the back of the truck. To the best of my knowledge, no one ever saw this as a problem or reported it. Isn't that because you all know each other, though? Oh, that's Jimmy. He's taking the kids out again. Right? Isn't that why it's happening? Like, I can totally see. You're all related. You all know each other. So they're probably looking over going, it's all right. It's all right. They're probably going into the woods for some sort of bonding experience or something. So, there we are. We rode in the back of these trucks like kidnapped orphans for 30 minutes. I know that it is 4 to 5 countries of driving over in Euroland, but that's just how far away the stores are in rural America. So it wasn't actually unusually far. Okay, yeah. Europe as a whole isn't that small, all right? And it does take several hours to cross the UK. Long ways. It's about 8 hours, top to bottom, for the UK. 8-9 hours of driving. Yeah, top to bottom. It takes longer just to cross Texas. I mean, yeah, Texas is ridiculous. Texas is outrageously large. Texas is bad. I'm not sure how far you could go in 8 hours across Europe. You could definitely go through France, Belgium, Germany. You can make it pretty far. You can go across several countries. Yeah. You could definitely get across a lot of countries in 8 hours, actually. Yeah, you can. All right. Point taken. If I had to drive 30 minutes to get a fucking chocky bar, I'm moving. It takes now 5 minutes for me to drive to the store from my new house, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Now, when we eventually stopped, my group of 5 was at the end of an old logging road, surrounded by forest. They then gave us walkie-talkies and a single key, and told us to head east and find the other boys. Then the adults got back in the truck and left us. This is the start of a horror game. This is how Blair Witch happened, right? That's the only instructions you were given. Here's walkie-talkies, a key, head east. And you'll just, what, bump into people? Okay. Mike, I've provided you a reference image for the walkie-talkie. I'm not sure what Charles Dickens-esque name you would use for this. Yeah, walkie-talkie. We call them walkie-talkies too. Yeah. We still call them walkie-talkies. They're not called, like, magnificent communication boxes or something along those lines. We call them walkie-talkies too. And now, we'd been in the Scouts for years at this point. We're no amateurs, right? And the sun was up, so east wasn't hard to determine. You know what I found out the other day? Emma can't figure out east from where the sun is. And it well pissed me off. I was like, how do you not know? Because I was doing... me and the kids and Emma were walking through a forest. And they were asking about, like, compasses and stuff. I was like, well, you don't really need a compass if you can see the sun. And they're like, what do you mean? And I explained it to them. And then Max figured it out immediately. And then James got it. And Emma was like, what the fuck are you idiots talking about? You can't tell the direction. I was like, you She does love camping. But she camps with, like, electricity, and a secondary tent is where the barbecue is and shit like that. It's not glamping. It's not glamping, but it's close. It's close. Now, okay. East wasn't hard to determine. We didn't have better choices, so we started walking. We tried to use the radios, but only got bursts of static as a response. We hiked more and more and more. I recall us deciding to make walking sticks, arguing about whatever culture was relevant, making up complete bullshit stories about our non-existent romantic escapades. Oh yeah, fucking Shelley. Banged her, mate. Banged her rotten. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. She's a squirter. She's a fucking squirter, I tells you. Fucking virgins. Went down on her for like, I don't know, 2 hours. Yeah, she loved it. Yeah. Pretty normal stuff, mate. Pretty normal, because that's how sex goes. That's how it happens. Seen it. You know, normal boy stuff. After about an hour of hiking and trying the radios, we got a garbled voice in return. After more walking and arguing, we eventually got enough signal to establish communication with the other group. Okay. Figuring out how to meet up, though, took us a while. There weren't exactly street signs in the deep woods, and we eventually figured out we could see some of the same landmarks, mountains, knobs. I need help. What do you mean by a knob? What's a knob? I don't know what that means. I know what a knob is in the UK, and I doubt that's what we're talking about. A tall hill. Okay. For all our UK friends, a knob is a tall hill. A knob is a tall hill. Over here, that is another reference to a penis. So if you could see a lot of knobs, you were definitely doing some like Firefly bullshit out in the woods together, and that's not advisable. Okay, good. All right, we could see some mountains and knobs, and that we were in fact in the same valley. We found a stream in the bottom of the valley and used the relative size of the stream to determine who was higher and lower in the valley to plan our rendezvous. It's really smart, actually. Huh. I would have just asked which way is the water flowing. That wouldn't have worked out either, because they could have been left and right of you. But if you were moving east to find them, then they should be in the easterly direction of which way the water's flowing, right? That would have made sense to me. Anyway, one of you walk with the flow, one of you walk against the flow, and you should eventually meet up. Is that a bad idea? I need help from camp people and survivalists. Is that a bad idea if you're in the same valley and you're following a stream? That makes sense. That's a bad plan. How can you perpetually get further away if one of you walks upstream and one of you walks downstream? And the team going east and the other team is going west. Well, one team's going east, one team's going west, and the east team says they can see the water flowing that way, then you stick to the stream and walk in the opposites, right? That's not how water works. That is how water works! I'm right. I'm pretty sure that would work. I'm pretty sure that would absolutely work. What do you mean it depends where they started? One group is to the east and one's to the west, and they're moving towards a central location. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. My plan works. I'm sorted. What if the stream goes north-south? It doesn't. It's convenient. You're in a valley. You can see which way the stream's going. You're in a valley. That all makes sense. Yeah, it works. It works. Now, Mike, I know as I'm writing this right now, I'm making it sound kind of sensible as an adult. It took us an hour or two of child redneck guesswork and intuition to figure this out. Eventually, we did meet the other group and found instead of a key, they were provided with a locked waterproof box. By combining our powers, we opened the box to find a compass, a bit late for that, and a topographical map with a location circled. Can I just check? I don't know who the author is. Did they provide you any food? Because I feel like you've now been out in the woods as young teenagers for hours and hours and hours. Did they provide you any food or water for this? Because I'm suspecting they didn't. They gave them a whole other team to eat. Okay. Now, of course, we provided no instructions, but the circle on the map seemed good enough to be a goal for us to go. Keep reading, City Boy. No, I'm already thinking ahead to what's about to happen. I'm just curious. I mean, I've read Lord of the Flies. I know where this is going. Reference image of a topographic map. Is there anybody here who doesn't know what topography is? I expect more of you. Okay? We understand topography, right? We're good. We're good. We understand topography. Alright? It's a map of Beyblades. I'm assuming at least most of us here did basic geography. We're all good. We're all good. Alright. So we used the landmarks in the elevation of the valley to orientate ourselves. Again, we made our way towards the mystery circle. We had started sometime in the early morning. By now, it's near noon. How could you tell? What a mystery it is to figure out what time it is, what time of the day it is. Who knows? The complete lack of food and water is now becoming a problem. Yeah, there we go. The stream we were traveling near was a mountain stream. Clear, fast-flowing water. So water, no problem. I don't know if I can drink stream water, man. It's full of fish piss. I mean, in an emergency, sure, but like... I don't want to drink stream water. I don't want to do that. I am a city boy. I am a city boy. I imagine, I can already picture a scenario where I fill my canteen, which I don't think they have, so you're scooping it with hands, and then you look over and fucking Derek's pissing in the stream. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And now you're like, for fuck's sake, man. The stream was... So we had water. Food, though, is going to be a challenge. So we decided to deal with that problem later. Smart. After another hour or so of walking, it found us in the indicated circled area. It was an old stone wall deep in the woods. A cursory search of the wall revealed a large, camouflaged hunting backpack, which we liberated from its hiding place. So now they provided weaponry. Excellent upgrade. We now have weapons. Superb. hold. I was being presumptuous. Within the pack, we found an assortment of sandwiches, some apples, some potato chips, and water bottles. All full. We took a break to consume our bounty, sitting atop the stone wall, and as well as consider the rest of the pack's contents. I've got to be honest, at this point, I'm probably having fun. This sounds like a fun experience, to be honest. This doesn't sound like super terrible. It sounds like it's a fun thing to be left out with the boys and just fucking trooping around the woods. Got some sarnies going, got some water. Seems all right. Now, in addition to the food, we found a new map segment with a new area to go to. We found some oh no. Okay, yeah, see, now it's getting bad. We found a length of rope, a hatchet, knives, not Manchester knives, you stabbing paw, Leatherman multi-tool knives. I don't know what that is. What are Leatherman multi-tool knives? Multi-tool knives. Like Swiss Army knives? Is this just another name for a Swiss Army knives? Is that what? Okay, yeah, it's another name for a Swiss Army knife. All right. Leatherman multi-tool knives. Okay. And cleverly, they had added batteries for our radios. All right. Mike, only as I'm typing these words do I realize what an MMO quest this whole adventure was. I might need to share this story with my therapist later. Okay. Way better than Swiss Army knives. That's the most American bullshit I've ever heard in my fucking life. Clearly you've not been to Switzerland. Right? Like, you've done it better. No, the Swiss did it, and they did a really good job. There you go. This is just a good Swiss Army knife. This one's usable for wrenches and shit. The fact you think you came up with this is so American. A good Swiss Army knife also has all this shit. Literally. You are so fucking American. It's unbelievable. It's so American. It's so ridiculous. They have it, but they are too small. Go to Switzerland. Go to a Swiss Army store. Or just Google a good Swiss Army knife. They have all this shit. Oh my god. Like, look, this is what they're claiming is better than a good Swiss Army knife. It's just a Swiss Army knife. It's just a good Swiss Army knife. That's literally all it is. It's literally that. The Leatherman. They're better, though. Okay. We'll leave it there. They're a Swiss Army knife, but better, though. Sure. Don't make me banjo your ass. I'm just saying. Looks bigger, therefore better. Just get a big Swiss Army knife. You guys are fucking killing me. Do you think Swiss Army knives are one size? Did you get one in like a party cracker or something? You're like, that's all Swiss Army knives that are like this big with a Phillips screwdriver on it and a nail file. And you're like, well, that's what a Swiss Army knife is. I hate you all. Fucking Americans. This is why you guys claim you have the best pizza. It's just pizza. It's just pizza. It's not that incredible. Sorry to blow your trumpets, guys. It's not that amazing. We have the best pizza in the whole world. All right, let's go. So, after our wonderful stonewalled lunch, we headed to our new objective. We were fairly relaxed by this point of the journey, full bellies, hydrated, and having fun. So we entertained ourselves by playing games along the way. Oh, God, what is this? What are the games of the rural boys out on their own? Now, we pretended that we were being attacked by enemy. I mean, it's on brand, I suppose. I can't remember the exact context of this, but I have a distinct memory of one of the members of the group sprinting away from us, yelling, "The offensive term are in the trees and the gazelle is on the move." While we threw mud balls at him to simulate bullets. Again, classic rural boy stuff. It stopped when we hit the river. Okay. I mean, we've all played army at school. I did. I played army at school. With a stick. We all played army at school. On our route, we was a reasonably sized river, maybe 15, 20 feet across. Despite being fairly narrow, mountain rivers in that area tend to be swift and deep. Okay, this is now turning into Stand By Me. It also rained a fair bit recently, so the river was up to its banks. There wasn't a great alternative path, so clearly the intention the adults left for us was to cross this river, but ideally not drown and die. Yeah. Yeah, this could be a little spooky because you're aged between, what, was it 12 and 16? Something like that? Now, Mike, if this scares you as a parent, I get it. This was batshit and really, really fucking unsafe. But this is rural America and it's what you asked for. And the kids are a lot more disposable when you just have loads of them. If they die, they die. The trick to like keep... Yeah, the trick is just have more kids, and then you can lose a few and you're still good. So we came up with an idea. We were to lash a bridge with logs and branches. We'd seen a similar demonstration at the last Camporee. The Camporee is a statewide biannual meetup of all the scouting troops, and thought we could swing something functional together. It took a few tries, but we eventually lashed a serviceable bridge using the provided rope, some larger saplings that we had to hatchet down. We were smart enough to tie a rope to each person as they crossed in case they slipped and were swept away. I'm not going to lie to you, and this isn't for dramatic effect, there were a few close calls because the rocks under the river were really slippery, but we did manage to get everybody across in the end. Alright. So, with this most minor of inconveniences out of our mind, we continued on our merry journey. The evening arrives. Are they just expecting you to camp out? I assume you're just sleeping with your heads in the mud, right? Bubba Gump style. But at this point in our adventure, I mean, this is a quest at this point. This totally does fit drama time. The daylight was beginning to wane and we were still in the deep woods, as far as we could tell. We discussed the possibility of having to survival camp that night. Thankfully, we all knew how as we had earned the Boy Scouts merit badge the previous summer for camping. It takes a while to prep a survival campsite though, so it was a choice we would have to make soon. For the moment, we decided to press on, but we began to take note of locations for a good campsite. As the shadows truly got long, we were relieved to hear voices and smell smoke. Achievements? We weren't sure where we were and only had a good chance of knowing the people we could hear, but at least finding other people would be a good outcome. Now, from what I understand of traveling the woods of the US, not necessarily. Because from what I have learned from my deep research, there's at least a 75% chance of cannibals. That's what I'm aware of. If your car even breaks down somewhere near a tree, you are approximately 60 to 80% chance of being eaten alive. That's what I'm aware of. Also, all the serial killers have some sort of hut or lodging out in the woods. All right? Weird, though, we couldn't hear any cars. Car and especially truck noises carry in mountain valleys, so it's a good way to find civilization in a pinch. We put on our friendliest, well, oh shucks, mom faces. What does that mean? Well, or shucks, mom faces. What the fuck does that mean? I continued towards the sounds and signs of people. We emerged into a small clearing of an old logging road and a few people all parked up with pickup trucks. To our surprise, we recognized these people. It was our scout leaders, and they had a grill going with burgers along with coolers of soda. They smiled upon seeing us and congratulated us on passing our training. It turns out this was the plan all along. They are waiting to pick us up after the barbecue and take us home. They had also been listening to us on the radio, but you surely stopped using the radios halfway through this adventure, right? Because you were all stood together, so you wouldn't have continued using the radios. There was a high point overlooking the valley where they could listen for our communication the whole trip. This was the first of our trips. I love this story and telling it to the non-rural folks. It's one of those times you finish a story, then you look up at the audience, and they all make a face at you like you're recounting abuse. I don't think so. I actually think this is surprisingly tame. I think this is kind of fine. If the adults, like, they didn't tell you, but, like, as long as they had eyesight on you in some form and were listening to you, this seems fine to me. Yeah, my kids kind of did something similar last week. Is they were staying at a friend's house, and 8 of them went up to a forest at 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock at night, and they believed that they were going on their own. They weren't. They were being stalked by one of the parents to make sure they were okay, but they went out on their own to see how they would behave and to give them that experience and do all those kind of things. They all came back and they were utterly convinced that I actually kind of spoiled it. Because Max said, Dad, I went out last week at 10 o'clock at night and on my own, and we went up to the forest and we were out there and it was dark and we were there till like midnight, like me and my friends. And I went, no, you didn't. Because I know who they were staying with and would never let that happen. And he was like, I did. I was like, no, you didn't. Absolutely not. No, you didn't. And I was like, you're full of shit. And he's like, no, we totally did. It's like, you must have got the times wrong, because I know that this person wouldn't let you do that because they're pretty protective of their kid. He's like, I totally did. And then I came into her and I was like, Emma, did Max do this fucking thing? And she went, he did. And I went, no, he didn't. Because you would never let that happen either. And she went, they did. What they didn't know is that the parents were not far behind, making sure they were okay. So in there, and I was like, oh, okay. So in their minds, they were totally fine. But yeah, it's like, shit, now I spoiled it, because he totally believed at that point that he'd made this great adventure on his own, and then I kind of spoiled it. But, I mean, the story is so ridiculous. They were 10. There was no way they were let out at midnight to go and play in a forest, like they were going to start a fire or something. Right? That is preposterous. And no, it's important that I addressed it, because I would have been angry and called that parent to be like, do not let my 10-year-old go wander around a forest in the fucking pitch black till midnight. Thanks. Right? That wouldn't have been okay. It was important. I had a great time on this thing. It was a great learning experience, though. That level of problem solving and initiative is incredibly uncommon. My co-workers as an older adult. I hope you enjoyed my little tale and imagine that other rural folks will have equally wild stories from other parts of the US. I do. I could write back again and spin you a yarn about the time we, that same group, burned down an igloo we were sleeping in. An igloo? How cold does it get up in New England? An igloo? Many of my fond childhood memories involve almost dying. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, an igloo is made of snow and ice. I mean, you can have an open flame, like a fire in an igloo, and it still won't melt, because the environment will keep it cold. Right? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm curious, though. But I would like some more stories from rural USA. That one, I think, is actually pretty tame. We did similar things when I was a kid. My brother left us out in a forest with air rifles... air rifles and dirt bikes, and then he said wait until the alarm goes off, which was about an hour and a half, and he went and hid somewhere in the forest with camo paint on and a scrim net, which is like the netting, like a ghillie suit, but it's a netting you put over yourself, and we had to go and find him. He said he'd be somewhere along the path that we would usually go to go home. And we had to go and hunt him down. The idea is that we were hunting him. Apparently we walked past him like 8 times and didn't see him, which he was really proud of. He was very proud of that. He was very, very proud that he achieved that. Our schoolgirls played too with 2 different teachers. My group's teacher got us lost and a rescue group came out and found us. Not wise. Okay, the next stories are pretty late, but I do have to get home, so I think... we'll do another drama on Monday, because there's some really good stories here. And that wasn't really gaming relevant, so I know you mostly want gaming relevant stuff. So we'll do an extra drama time, I think. we'll do an extra drama time. I think that's the plan. So that'll either be weekend or Monday, but definitely one of those 2 days. I will tweet out about it to make sure that was happening. Excellent. Perfect. All right, that'll be good. That'll be good. Tell us about the sleepover experience. I will. I keep promising you guys pictures of shit at the house, and I'm sorry I haven't taken any, but I will do them for you. But other than that, thank you for a wonderful day, guys. On Monday, as a reminder, that's the wrong one. On Monday, as a reminder, Elder Scrolls Online we'll be looking into in preparation as well for Dawntrail. Maybe we'll be building a Solution 9 PC. That would be really cool. Lots of things going on. And at some point this weekend, we'll also be throwing into the Destiny 2 story. It's going to be a busy old time. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be an exciting time, all right? But other than that, I'm going to say goodbye. Love you guys. And I'll see you soon. I'm just not exactly sure when. Bye, guys.